Human exploration of the ocean covers only 5% of the entire ocean. In the vast and deep seafloor may hide mysterious civilizations yet unknown to mankind, and ancient relics, unidentified structures. Mysterious creatures are these remnants of unknown civilizations or natural wonders of the seafloor. Today, we bring you face to face with the hidden truth deep in the ocean. In 2011, Sweden's underwater exploration team, Ocean X, investigated a shipwreck in the Baltic Sea at a depth of 100 meters and discovered a peculiar, unidentified object. This object has a diameter of 73 meters and a thickness of about 9 meters. According to underwater scanning equipment, its appearance is too artificial, and it doesn't seem naturally formed at all. The Ocean X team immediately reported the discovery to the academic community and made it public worldwide through the media. When people heard that at 100 meters deep in the Baltic Sea, an object resembling an ancient relic was found, and its shape resembles a spaceship from a movie, many people speculated that it might be an ancient crashed UFO. Then, media worldwide reported on it using the keyword UFO. This object instantly received global attention. For further investigation, the Ocean X team, on their second expedition, sent professional divers underwater. According to divers, when they approached the object, all electronic devices suddenly stopped working, and when they moved more than 200 meters away, the devices resumed normal function. Every time they got close, they malfunctioned. He said that in his 20 years of diving, he had never seen anything like it. Although they don't know what the object really is, one thing is certain: it is man-made. Moreover, the Ocean X team, while analyzing photos and videos from the divers, also found on the object and surrounding terrain some black markings. Underwater exploration expert Lindberg analyzed and said these marks may have been produced when a UFO crashed, resulting from a collision with the terrain. If not, then these black traces on the terrain cannot be explained. Moreover, many scholars have proposed hypotheses about this mysterious object. Some say that the structure of this object could not possibly have been formed by geological processes, although its surface appears to resemble rock that is due to long-term sediment accumulation covering it. It is very likely that it is a mysterious creature unknown to us, or a relic of ancient life. It may also be the remnant of intelligent deep-sea life, or even an apparatus used by an extraterrestrial civilization to operate in the deep sea. But so far, these are all mere speculations. Due to the unique underwater environment, further exploration is relatively difficult. So far, no definitive conclusion has been reached about this object, and no theory can accurately explain this object. In 1964, built by the US National Science Foundation, the world's first Antarctic research vessel, Enigma, in the deep Antarctic Sea, detected an extremely peculiar object, the Enigma antenna. At that time, to develop a mobile base in Antarctica, they conducted depth surveys in the surrounding seas. At a depth of 4,200 meters on the seafloor, they accidentally discovered an object. This object looks like a modern antenna. It is located about 1,600 kilometers south of Cape Horn, at the southern tip of South America. It is one of the most desolate oceanic regions in the world. Around it, there is nothing but icebergs. The route from Cape Horn to Antarctica is known for strong waves and currents, and has long been called a maritime grave. Extremely dangerous, and in this vast and lifeless deep-sea floor, miraculously stands an unidentified structure. At that time, this news was published by New Zealand's largest newspaper, the New Zealand Herald, and was first revealed to the world. Almost instantly, people began to debate the true identity of this object. In intense discussions, let's take a closer look at this object. It is about 1.2 meters tall. 12 crossbars radiate symmetrically from its column. The crossbars are perfectly symmetrical. Their ends are circular. It appears as if it were used to transmit and receive signals like an antenna, because at that time, there was no technology to directly reach that depth. For the mystery surrounding this object grew even stronger. Therefore, many speculated that it might be the relic of an ultra-ancient civilization that once inhabited a warm Antarctic continent beneath the 3-kilometer thick glacier covering Antarctica. There might be countless such relics hidden. Thus, some speculated that around 200 million years ago, when Antarctica was not yet covered by glaciers, civilization might have already existed on Earth. Others believe that the legendary continent of Atlantis may also have originated from ancient Antarctica. But some UFO researchers argue that this object might be an abandoned alien structure, because this antenna is located in a hard-to-reach area, perhaps once placed by an extraterrestrial civilization for transmitting and receiving signals. It was a deliberately installed device. In 1971, geologist Bruce Eisen completely refuted those science fiction speculations, classifying the Eltanin antenna as a type of marine animal, and suggested that this object might be the remains of a carnivorous sea urchin called Corydoid. Although the shapes of these two are somewhat similar, they do bear some resemblance. Compared to the alien structure theory, this view seems more realistic, but it also has some flaws. Thomas Hawkins, a marine biologist at Florida State University, provided 3 counterarguments. The first, Eltanin antenna, has a very clear and defined mechanical shape, while the shape of Corydoisa is rather irregular. Second, is a marine organism that reproduces but no similar organisms have been found nearby, just like dandelion seeds, as asexually reproducing plants usually grow in clusters within a specific area, but this object stands alone on the vast seafloor. Third, at a depth of 4 kilometers, sunlight cannot reach at all. Therefore, the possibility of marine plants or animals existing is extremely low. Because of these reasons, Professor Hawkins tends to support the alien structure theory. Ultimately, after extensive discussion, its exact identity was never confirmed. This object was gradually forgotten. However, 60 years later, it sparked controversy once again, because in a mural from Sego Canyon, Utah, an ancient mural revealed a pattern very similar to the Eltanin antenna. Thus, some speculate that this mural, like the deep sea Antarctic antenna, may be a relic left by an alien civilization. In June 2017, an American blogger revealed online a mysterious underwater barrier. The title of his video was shocking, titled "From the Antarctic to the Arctic: The Mysterious, Enormous Underwater Barrier." This Google Maps-based video spread rapidly across the internet. It was soon picked up by major media outlets. The underwater barrier's news quickly spread worldwide. About 2 years later, in 2019, a video appeared on a conspiracy theorist's channel, whose content roughly stated that this underwater barrier stretches along the meridian from the Antarctic to the Arctic. But in 2018, this barrier disappeared from maps. At that time, people's reaction was that the barrier was described in such detail, and it formed exactly along the 180 meridian, making it hard to believe it was a mere coincidence or a mapping error. Let's take a closer look at this barrier. It is about 1.7 kilometers high and around 3 kilometers wide, an extremely huge structure. It extends along the meridian in a straight line. This means it could not have formed naturally. If it were a natural formation, it wouldn't extend so perfectly straight. And in the middle of the barrier, there are also bridge-like structures that seem to have carved out passageways between these channels. One can see grooves resembling modern roads, with shapes and even a center line. Some might ask, why no one went to verify it at the time? In fact, it wasn't easy, because the barrier lies in water deeper than 5 kilometers, even if one reached it. And due to its width of over 3 kilometers, it's hard to determine whether it is a barrier or part of the seafloor. If it is a man-made structure, then the people who built it must possess an intelligence beyond our imagination. Another view is that, considering that the Earth is round, this underwater barrier restricts the flow of seawater, which could have a beneficial effect on Earth's climate. If this is true, then the purpose of building this barrier goes far beyond anything we can normally imagine. So who built such a huge barrier, and for what purpose? Some scientists have offered an explanation. They say this barrier is not a physical structure, but rather a visual phenomenon, closely related to the ocean's physical properties. In May, Jimmy Zich, a host on an American radio station, received an astonishing tip from a listener via email with a shocking piece of news. The email said, "On the coast of Malibu, California, a strange structure was seen at a depth of 2,000 feet underwater, with its coordinates provided on a map. So he went to check it out in person." In short, the first impression. Looking at this photo, what was your first impression? Did it look a bit like ancient Greek architecture? Or perhaps like an arena? Afterward, not only in Antarctic waters, from above. This object is about 800 meters wide, and about 200 meters high. That the unknown in the deep sea might be even greater. It is almost a perfect ellipse. Below, though somewhat blurry, several vertical pillars resemble entrances. All the pillars are at the same height, but you can still see stair-like terrain, clearly, as if it had been swept. The ground in front of the building is also very clean. If it were naturally formed, mystery radio host Jimmy Zich, its parts would be too symmetrical. There exist bizarre creatures unknown to us. Introduced this place as USOGD. After the news broke, public reaction was intense. They believed it to be the call of a living creature. Sightings in the world, with the most UFO, not exaggerating, most professionals involved in UFO research live there. It is very famous because seawater contains salt. Besides the USO-based theory, have proposed various hypotheses about this object. Some say it is a building constructed in ancient times, submerged due to rising sea levels. Evidence of a hyper-ancient civilization. Others say, at a depth of 3,000 feet underwater, it may be a marine military facility used during World War II. Similarly, right near the coast known for mysterious Nazca lines, a strange, tadpole-like structure was found. Could it be that somewhere in the deep sea, where mysterious Nazca lines exist, there is an unidentified circular object on a long underwater road? There is also a zigzag tail and path behind the object. These peculiar structures. Some people speculate that this circular object might be an alien dwelling, with the zigzag tail serving as the route to it. Or relics of an ancient civilization. Are they remnants of an alien civilization? Or perhaps, currently, regarding these claims, simply naturally formed seafloor structures? Thus, the crew filming this phenomenon, there is no definitive conclusion. Strange sound of unknown origin. Underwater microphones of the USNOA captured sounds at a depth of 4,500 meters in Antarctic waters, recording a shocking. It was emitted from a depth of 4,500 meters in Antarctic waters. The sound we just heard is called loop. Could produce such a powerful sound, and no known life on Earth. It exhibits a unique frequency. It is speculated that would never occur in underwater volcanoes, that its source is most likely an unknown animal. This report caused a worldwide sensation. In November 1997, the US NOAA, after receiving this sound for the first time, stated that the extremely low-frequency sound, additionally, some experts speculated, was very similar to that produced by deep-sea animals, because the Malibu coast is one of the places. If that is true, that if this truly is the sound of a deep-sea organism, then its body size would be at least about 200 meters. Then it would be being 7 times larger. Being 7 times larger was that it appeared to be man-made, but also in the Indian Ocean. Such strange sounds have been recorded repeatedly, yet their exact source remains undetermined. Near the coastline with Nazca lines. On his show, called brine ice. Called brine ice. Anything that comes into contact with it. Its surface is much smoother than the rest, hence it is called ice of death. And the terror of brine ice doesn't end there. It not only forms ice columns, but upon contact with the seafloor, it also flows along the bottom. It instantly freezes and destroys everything around it. These clusters of hide-and-seek salt water. Some researchers, when the weather turns cold, the salt sinks and gathers together, are much colder than the surrounding seawater. In this process, as the saltwater density increases, it sinks into the water. In this process, was in an extremely dangerous situation. Some might think, just avoid it, right? But the problem is, not only does the contacted water freeze, the surrounding temperature also drops sharply. In 1997, the deep ocean is both mysterious and terrifying. Truly seems. The deep sea truly seems. Which is more fascinating? Personally, the deep sea or the universe? Personally, I even believe will be instantly frozen. When faced with these unsolved mysteries, although the universe is vast and mysterious, the deep sea seems to inspire more fear. We should maintain a rational and objective attitude. Perhaps one day in the future, science will provide us with the perfect answer